Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Somebody jumped out of their bed right now. Live from Park City, Utah. Rabbi Isai, I left Eretz Yisrael at 3 a.m. That's when I left my house for a 6 o'clock flight. I arrived here in Park City at 6:15 a.m. in Israel. So it took me 27 hours from door to door. I'll just share with you a little bit. Not that I'm complaining. It's always geschmack to come to Park City. It's geschmack to travel. Sometimes it's a little hard. Sometimes it's harder than others. I forgot to bring food. The other thing I forgot to do is eat the day before. So in the middle of shir, I told some of the guys that I'm a little hungry and I had to give a second shir because I was traveling. So Yisrael Lichter got up, went home, made schnitzel, came back. So I had schnitzel. So I had schnitzel at 10 o'clock at night. And that was a big nace because my food didn't come. You know, it was one of those flights where there's no internet, no food. But they had oranges. I had 2 oranges in 31 hours. 27 hours of flying, but 31 hours since the last schnitzel. So here I am. Some big event. What was the chef's name?
Yosef Backman.
Yosef Backman made a big event here in Park City. So my son-in-law came back with ribs. It was mamash sudas malachim yishkoach Yosef, like givaldic stuff. So I want to tell you what happened. I give 2 shiurim a day, right? I give one in English, one in Hebrew. The plan was to come here now and give 2 shiurim, which is crazy because I'm not holding by that. So when I landed in Germany. 1 flight to Germany, 3.5 hours to Germany. Then from Germany to San Francisco, 11-hour flight. In San Francisco, I had almost a 3-hour layover. So I said, okay, let me chop around and get a shir. So I started looking for a hotel. No, you have to go out. It's too far away. I wouldn't make my flight. So I started looking around. Some person, once upon a time, made a room for people with anxiety. Okay? I'm going to show you what it looks like here, actually. Let me see. Here it is. Look at this room. It was made just for the shir, so that one time a yid could go there and give a shir. Not a single person was in there. And if they would come in there, listen, I have anxiety, and I talk to myself, to cameras. And there's actually a plane model in there, so if you have anxiety for flying, you could pretend you're going on a plane. And I gave the shir in this area right over here. This is where I give, hold on. This is not good.
Mic piece?
Yeah, mic. Where is it? I thought I brought it out. Hold on. We're still recording, Rabbi Son. Okay. I'm back. Schmuck. This is unbelievable. This piece is going to make a world of a difference. Here we go. And we just plug it in right over here. Okay. Mark, we good? Great. P5 now on something, I don't know what. So anyways, you saw that room, and I gave this shir. It was quick. It's this daf. It's really easy and geschmack. And I made my flight, Baruch Hashem, and that's it. So here I am in Utah. I saw my granddaughter, Adira. I didn't hold her yet. Had to eat, and now I'm giving shir afterwards, Be'ezer Hashem. So yishkoach for coming. We have 6 people here, which is very nice. And tomorrow, Be'ezer Hashem, I guess there'll be a few more people. We have to figure out what time we're giving shir, no? At a normal hour.
You told me 6:15. That's what the flyer says.
Really?
Yeah, but I can update it.
So when are we going to prepare? On the lift. Okay. I say tomorrow's daf actually is a very easy daf. It's all agadata, complete agadata. So that being said, let's just jump into we'll do the sponsors, and then we'll jump into it. We'll try to get you guys home quickly. We have 5 women. So what's your name?
Shmuel Gans.
And this is your son?
Ariel
Gans. Shalom Aleichem. From?
Boynton Beach, Florida.
Boynton Beach, Florida. Since Baba Basra. Okay, and your name?
Ari Wolfish.
Ari Wolfish from?
Kew Garden
Hills.
Hills.
And since when are you doing the daf? This is your first time?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Have to come all the way to Park City to pick up a guy. And you're Jake Ackerman's grandson, who happens to be my father-in-law, Dr. Freeman's very, very dear friend from YU days. And where do you live? Well, what's your name? Ari Horn?
Yes.
Related to Moshe Horn? From the Five Towns? The guy, he's a big part of the shir? No? Okay. And Morty Spiro from Chicago. I know Morty very well for years already. His brother was the guy that taught me electric. I used to be an electrician, and I used to work for his brother. His brother's my boss for like probably 2 years. Back in the day when I used to do physical labor, I used to electric, plumbing, framing. Yeah.
You guys did my house. Remember that first house when I first moved there?
I was the guy that did it. Yisrael's house. That was Yisrael's house.
That construction.
Oh yeah, I did the construction. That's right. I did construction in your house. Yeah. Correcto. I know something. The one across the street from the shul. Yeah. Okay. So now that we know everything, yeah, that's right. Sam Wasserman is coming. Be'ezer Hashem, the big part of the shir. He has Romanian now. I spoke about him in the past. The Masech is sponsored for Refuah Shlema for Yosef Chaim Shmuel Ben Alte Nechama from his grateful family. The Masech is sponsored for Atzlacha Beruknis ובגשמיות. The Masech is sponsored for Cohn in memory of Yechiel Moshe Ben Chaim, who started learning Daf Yomi at age 70. You see, it's never too late, and continued for 32 years until he was nifter. The Masech is sponsored for the unity of the Jewish people. The Masech is sponsored by Glenn Esterson with love and gratitude from Wilmington, North Carolina. Thank you for enriching my life with Torah. Parnassa chodesh, we have 5. Leilui Nishmat Zechrya ben Moshe, Leilui Nishmat Zechrya ben Yosef. As a zechus for our children and tremendous parnassa. Leilui Nishmat Yaffa bat Simcha, Refuah Shlema, Yisrael, Yaakov ben Malka. Zechut parnassa berevach for Baruch Tzvi Nisim ben Shoshana Leah. And by Kidnovations LLC in honor of Elchanan, Uncle Elchanan, and Fishel, and it's zechus for Akiva Simcha ben Fega, a shidduch for Rivka Yehudis bas Yaffa Chaya. And a thank you to Eli Stefansky. Last night, Akiva Simcha ben Fega texted me, want to know if what's going on here. If the shidduch of Rivka Yehudis bas Yaffa Chaya is a hint for him, he wanted to know. He didn't know what was flying. Dov Eisenberger, in honor of the Bergen Hatzalah MD Wires, the Muncie firefighters had their turn. Smiley face, laughing out loud, or whatever that is. Chilul of the week. Okay, Geschmack. Parnassa Shavua, Gitzi Halander, in honor of our oldest grandson, Shuaz of Sharon, may grow in Torah Midas. Parnas Hayom, Moshe Grossman, in honor of LK of the Muncie Fire Department on completing Art Scroll Sanhedrin Volume 1. Keep it up. Okay, we're making siyum now on Art Scrolls. Sanhedrin Volume 1. Parnas Hayom, the yard side of Shana Malka Bas Shlema Yosef Aleh Shalom. The art of the month for zechus for we're almost done here. For zechus for Eli and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many, and in honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi, who's online right now for all the work they do. Mark Ashkenazi, I just called him up and said, "Hey, I'm in the airport. I have a room. Could you jump on and do the shir?" And he said, "No problem." And here he is again. He happens to be in Arizona now, so that's great. The boys say we're holding on Daf Mem Gimel Amud Beis, right? I don't even know where we're holding. Oh, Tein Taida L'chayra. Yeah. No. Sorry, we're holding Mem Beis Amud Beis. That makes more sense. Everything is excusable today. So where are we holding? Rav Papa, Gewaldig. Okay. So let me remind the Olam here. Hold on. We had this was phenomenal what we had here. Check this out. If you did the daf yesterday or you didn't? No? Okay. Basically, when somebody's chayiv misa from Bezdin, if the skila, herek, chenek, you kill him outside of the Bezdin. It must be outside of the Bezdin. But how far from the Bezdin? So the Gemara tells us it has to be outside 3 machnos. Just as a refresher, these are the 3 machnos. The actual base of Mikdash is machna 1. The Harabayis is machna 2. Yerushalayim, the old city, up until the wall that was built by Yeshua, not the current wall that we have, is machna Yisrael. And anything outside of that is the 3rd machna. Now, the Gemara brought a pasuk from, I'm just doing this because I love this chart, because it made a slightly complicated sugi simple. the Gemara says there's something called a par helam davar. Most Klal Yisrael doesn't have avera by mistake because the Sanhedrin told them they have to bring one bull. Where do you burn the bull? Outside of the three machnas. How do you know? Because it's a combination of three psukim. We have this bull. So this bull says mechutz lamachna, but it doesn't say how many machnas. So anytime it says outside of the machna, you take it out of one machna. So here, this pasuk, here it comes, par. Oh no, so we start, you're right. We start with Mashiach one. It's the same idea. When the Kohen Gadol does an avera by mistake, he passes for himself, he brings a cow, a bull. So he says mechutz lamachna, now we're holding in machna levia. Comes the second pasuk of par helam davar, knocks it out to machna Yisrael. We're still not there yet. Then comes the Trumas Hadeshin, the Yitzas Hadeshin, where you take the ashes off the Mizbech and you put it outside the Machna. You have three psukim out. Rav Papa, who happens to be an Amoira, he kind of argues on this. So that's where we're holding 6 lines from the bottom. So the question is, how do you know that you kill somebody outside of all three Machnas, far away from the Bezin? Because the Bezin, the 23 Bezin that Paskin's Misa, was by the Beis HaMikdash. So we'll learn now from Moshe Rabbeinu. Where was Moshe Rabbeinu sitting? The Machna Levia. He was already positioned in the second Machna, in the blue one, Machna Levia. And the Torah tells him, take the, I said cursor, and somebody wrote me, no, it's a bounce for what, okay, I'm from Panovich, we say cursor, okay? He says cursor is something on a computer. It's the wrong word. Somebody that curses. You have what I'm saying. Somebody cursed the Rebbeinu Shalom. So that's removing one step from Machna number 2. So where would he be right now? If you look at this chart, he would go from Machna 2 to right over here, to the green part, to Machna Yisrael. And then it says, there's another pasuk that says, take the cursor guy outside of that machna. So where? Chutz machna Yisrael, you have to take him out of all three machnas. As the Gemara, but we need that pasuk by Yitzias HaMikalim chutz machna. So Klal Yisrael, Moshe Rabbeinu, they did what they were told to do. We need to know that they accomplished what they set out to do. So the Gemara says, no, you don't need a pasuk for that because we have another pasuk that tells us that. Asiya behedik siva, it says there's another pasuk, Mem Gimel Amud Aleph on top. Ubnei Yisrael asu kasher tziva Hashem es Moshe. It says mefurish in the pasuk that Bnei Yisrael, Klal Yisrael did what Hashem told Moshe to do. But still, by Yirgim Moshe Oven is going to be extra. My Avdilay, what do we do with that pasuk? So here's a big chiddush. Up until now, and I mentioned this, we had a little bit of a. This is more of a for Geshmak. It's not 100% accurate. So what's not accurate about this? This is skila, right? You take him on a 2-story building. It's really, and they push him off. Then when he's down there, they stone him. So what's wrong with this picture is that he's wearing clothes. At least one thing is wrong. There's a few things that are wrong. How do you know you shouldn't be wearing clothes? So it says, what happened to my thing? Oh, here it is. The stone should hit him. It shouldn't hit his garment. He shouldn't be protected by anything. It should go directly on his body. As long as you hit him once with one stone and he dies from that one stone, great. In fact, he could also die from the skila itself. Let's say he snaps his neck on the fall. Also good. So here are the 2 psukim in case you want to see. So here are the 2 psukim. One says plural, avanim, and one says evan. What's the difference? Why? The evan, if the person doesn't die from one stone, so Taisus explains, I think it was Taisus, that maybe not, whoever explains it, that I would think that you should use the same stone over and over. So the Torah says, no, you can use the other stones. If he doesn't die from the first stones, they try to get him in the heart. They try to take a really heavy stone and hit him right on the heart and kill him. If that doesn't work, go out and get other stones. That's why it says avanim plural. Because of Rahman Avanim, if it would say stones, start off with 2. Because Rahman Avan, no, you start off with 1. If that doesn't work, you go get another one. Says the Gemara. V'ha haytana nemar ka'amar. So these are difficult words to just understand as is, but because I explained it beautifully, not me beautifully, Yoshi, the artist, showed you this chart right over here. So now it's very much understood. Yesterday, we went through this trouble of going through 3 psukim, explaining that from the 3 psukim, you see that you go out of the machna. So why in the world is Rav Papa, who's an Amoira, arguing on Tanaim? Tanaim say that we have 3 psukim, and it's more like a Gzer Shava. You learn from all 3 psukim together. What is he adding here? You learn from Moshe Rabbeinu, he was sitting already in the Levi, and then Hashem told him to go out of Leviah. Okay, but you're going to argue on Tanaim? So the Gemara says something very, very interesting. He says, Ilu lo nemar kamar. What he's trying to say is, if it didn't say it, Vachi kamar, Ilu lo nemar kra, if, in fact, I'm right, Rav Papa is going to be, he's sticking to his guns. My pshat is the best pshat. We learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. But even if there's no Moshe Rabbeinu, I would have learned the Gzer Shava. Achshav shenemar kra, Gzer Shava leitzarach. But now, in fact, I don't need a Gzer Shava. I have the pasuk. So everything we learned yesterday and all of Yoshi's, this whole chart, is extra. Oh, I should have shown it over here. I got to look here, not there. Okay. In our Beis Medrash, we have professional people that they take care of the pictures. I just push buttons over here, but everything over here I have to remember that they're not. I have Mark, but he doesn't know that I want it over there. Okay. Anyway, so what bothered me in Baruch Hashem, everybody talks about it. Gzer Shava is not something you make up. Gzer Shava is something that you get from Moshe Rabbeinu, received this directly from the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So if, in fact, these 3 psukim of par, and deshen, which we spoke about all in the beginning, is Gzer Shava, how can you say, oh, it's not a Gzer Shava. We don't need the Gzer Shava. If Hashem said it, it's a Gzer Shava. If He didn't say it, so you can't make it up. This whole Gemara that we had yesterday, nobody made it up. We got it from Moshe Rabbeinu. So what they say is that, yes, it's like one of these things that, something that you can learn with the Kavachaimer, the Pasuk is matriach itself to say it. So something that you have Gzer Shava, sometimes the Torah repeats it. Or that these 3 psukim that we learned yesterday are not a Gzer Shava. Nobody said it's a Gzer Shava. It's more of a Mematzinu. So if it's a Mematzinu, that you could do, that you could say, Chachamim made that up. It's not from Moshe Rabbeinu. Okay. But they discuss it. Rav Ashi Omar, Moshe Hecha Havi Yosef, where was Moshe Rabbeinu sitting in Machna Leviah? V'Amar Alei Rachmana, Haitzis Makalo. Take the cursor out. Chutz Machna Leviah. Same thing as we said before. El Mechutz Machna, Chutz Machna Yisrael. And then it says again, Chutz Machna. So they were learning from V'Tzusa Makalo Mechutz Machna, El Mechutz Machna, Chutz Machna Yisrael. You have to take him out of the Machna. V'Tzusa Makalo, La Asiyah. What they would learn, what Rav Papa was learning before, that's to say that they actually went ahead and they did it. As the Gemara, same question that we asked before. We have another pasuk in Yisrael, also kasher tziva Hashem is Moshe. Says the Gemara, so before we said, what does the pasuk come to tell us? That he can't be wearing any clothing. So now we learn more halachas. First of all, I forgot that Yoshi did a whole thing here. I didn't use it here. We got to start using his things. Yoshi's our artist. If you're new here, if it's your first day. So, that goes there. Let's see what he did. Oven. From oven, you learn 1 stone. Gishmak. Next. So 2. Okay. No, that's next. Okay, so Baruch Hashem, we didn't miss that much. Oh, here, this one. This is important. Yeah, it's out of order. So smicha, what does smicha mean? Smicha means that you have to put your hands on his head. Soimach, like you do on a behema, on a carbon, you put your hands on his head. So the chachamim, the dayanim, the edim, they put their hands on his head. Then they push. They have to push him off. So that you learn from the Torah. It's not made up. It's from the psukim. Chala smicha. Here, let's see what it looks like over here. I see the push off. I didn't see the smicha. Okay. If you're going to learn, your whole drasha is from the word haitzi, to take out, and we said, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu to take him out of the machna, so that's 1, 2. So what do you do with the haitzis that we had yesterday with the par helam davar, par kamishiach? It also says the word haitzi. If you're learning the word haitzi, it comes to say chiddush. So what's the chiddush in those psukim? Haitzi the chsivi parnassa and my darshis book. What are you darshing? Kasha. Okay, no answer for that. Says the Gemara, very interesting stuff. You know, here in the United States, I've heard this. I don't know how often they do it, but if somebody is incarcerated for many years, sometimes the government goes after them. Say, listen, we put you in jail, you have to pay. It's not our fault that you're a criminal. It cost us $1 million to hold you for 10. You never heard such a thing? Look it up. I heard. I'm not saying they do it every time, but there's been cases, or maybe I'm making it up. Okay, so anyway, the Gemara says like this. If we have to purchase a knife, a sword, to kill this guy, who should pay for it? It's his fault. Why should Bezdin pay for it? But it's not nice to do, we're killing him, so. But at the end of the day, the problem is you can't use the sword for anything else. You can't use it for the Bezdin's official. You have to bury it with the guy. Anything that has to do with his death, you have to bury it. So who pays for it? Says the Gemara, Echad Noimed. Amar Avuna, Shitali, this is simple. Echad Eben Sheniskabo. The actual stone, Vechad Eit Shenitla Boy, and the tree, Vechad Tzayv Shenerag Boy, and the sword, Vechad Suda Shenachak Boy, and whatever garment they used to choke him. And Taisus points out, what about the wick that we use to heat up the molten, the lead? Who pays for that? She says, no, that he drinks, so that's not an issue. But a sword that remains, and you have to bury it, who pays for that? So the Gemara says, that's Pashat Kulam Shel Tzibur. That the community has to pay for. My taimo. What's the logic? We don't tell them, you go purchase the sword that we're going to kill you with. That doesn't make sense. What about Sudash Menifim Boy V'Sudash Shuratzim? So yes, yesterday we had this, just to remind the Olam. You saw yesterday's shir? I don't know. Here we go. You remember that guy?
Remember you leaving it up?
Yeah. So basically the Mishnah tells us that there's a guy with flags in the Bezdin, and they take him out, we said, and they didn't have cell phones, they didn't have text messaging, so they had a horse in between, and the horse guy would see if the flag went up, that means come back to Bezdin, let's redo the case. Somebody found reason to believe he's not guilty. Oh, I should probably turn it off. Okay. So, who pays for the horse? Who pays for the flags? You tell me who. So what's the Gemara's question? Keeping that till the day, it's to save the murderer with the day, so you should pay for it. Or perhaps check this out. It says in the pasuk, "V'shaftu Eda," when you're judging V'tzilo Eda, you have a chiyuv as a bezdin to save this guy. That's why we do all these interesting things to save him. We listen to the zechus first. We don't allow a guy to change his mind from not guilty to guilty until the last very moment. A lot of things to save him. V'tzilo Eda. So maybe the horse and the flags comes from the bezdin's pocket. Another question. Today, if somebody, I once saw, it's one of these things you don't want to, you want to erase, but when I was a kid, I saw a kid get hit by a car, and it was a tragic ending, and they had to drug up the mother. She was out of her mind, literally out of her mind. As a kid, I remember she was cutting herself and biting and screaming, and so they had to drug her up. I can understand that. What happens to a guy that he's going out, he's about to die? So today they give him a couple of pills and he'll chill out, So in the time of the Gemara, they also had something like that. They give him some frankincense. They mix it. It's a mixture of wine and this frankincense. I guess it makes him. The Gemara uses a lotion to tarv. Basically, no more anxiety. It's anti-anxiety drink. Shenamar, or on the way, this guy, he would go into that room that I gave the shirin. And it's a big sign for people with anxiety or whatever. I forgot I should have taken a picture of that. Shenamar tnusheicher la'oved. You should give sheicher to the oved, v'yayin l'mor nefesh, and yayin and wine to those who are bitter. They're going through a tough time. So we have a chiyuv of tnu. As the Gemara is going to say, it's our chiyuv to give that sheicher and that yayin. The Gemara is continuing to ask, who pays for this wine? Because there were these amazing women in Yerushalayim. donate the wine, and they would bring it to them. So the Gemara asks, but what if there's the women are not donating this wine? So who has to pay for it? The guy himself to calm himself down, or is the Bezdin? So the community has to pay for it. Tenu, it says in the pasuk, then it's our chiyuv to give that wine. So the other day we learned about this 23 dayanim, and there's 3 rows of dayanim in front of them. Remember those pictures? And keep on going. That's also some amazing stuff. So I don't have it here. No, Mark, I don't see it here. I see Mark, going through, scrolling through. If you want to go to the other shir and put it in here, I could do it, but forget it. It's probably not worth it. So there's like 3 rows of talmidim, and we said the first row is the most chashuv, second row less chashuv. What if one of the talmidim gets up and says, I have reason to believe he's not guilty, and I have a svara? We said we bring him to the front. He sits down with the dayanim, and we don't remove, even if what he's saying is stupidity, we don't remove him there for the entire day. What if he says, I have something, and all of a sudden he can't talk for whatever reason? He can't talk. He literally became a mute. He can't talk, or I don't know what, anxiety. He can't talk, or he died. Okay, it's the same idea. He dies. The guy dies. Since he said he has reason to believe not guilty, and now we never heard what it is, perhaps we should create another bezdin. So another bezdin should try. This bezdin is over. Why? Because one of the Talmudim says he has reason to believe. Maybe the new bezdin will figure out what that Talmud wanted, but this bezdin as is didn't figure it out, and now we can't go further with the way it is. So Rav Sheshes went like this. Shtosim, Shalom Aleichem, come in. Says Rav Sheshes, Shalom Aleichem. Wow, what's your name? From where? From here? No. Where are you, Rabbi? You're the guy I met that time?
Yeah.
Shalom Aleichem, kum tzarayim. I'm not good with faces and names anymore.
A lot of people.
Every day, new people, and what's your name?
Moshe Shiner.
Shalom Aleichem, Moshe Shiner.
Palm Beach Synagogue.
Palm Beach Synagogue. Okay, shkoyach. Yivaldik, big zechus. Right here in Park City with the Rav, the Lubavitcher Rav here in Park City, Yivaldik. Okay, so we're holding Daf Mem Gimel Amud Aleph. I have another Gemara if you want in my room. Ask Mommy. Tell her it's in the bag. Yeah. So it says the Gemara. Minapach Rav Sheshes biyadei. Gishmaki Gemara here. He came right at the perfect time. Rav Papa goes like this. Rav Sheshes went like this. In other words, it's impossible what you're saying. Why? If we're going to be concerned about a Talmud that opened up his mouth, he didn't even say his svara yet. He said, I have something to say. So what if there's a guy in New York that has something to say? So I have to be concerned about every single person in the world that he might have something to say. Says Gemara, no, but Hasan like Ka'amar. Nobody said that he has a svara. Over here, the Talmud said specifically, I have something to say, and then he died. Then his mouth stopped working. My Toshma. So I'll prove it to you, because if one of the Talmidim actually did have something positive to say, to show that the murderer is not guilty, and then the Talmud dies, we don't have to wait until the vote. Even if he said a svara before the vote, we consider whatever he says as a vote. Zika in, zika lai. But it seems like it's only because he actually said what the zechus is. He explained it. Not because he said, oh, I have something to say. He actually said it. So Mamela, in our case, where he didn't say it, no. Says Gemara, Zika pshitali, Omar tibaylach. Nevertheless, I don't know. He says, I don't know what the answer is. If a Talmud actually said a reason to believe why it's a zechus and then he dies, we take that as a vote of not guilty. But if all he said is, I have something to say and he wasn't able to say it, how do we know? Maybe he's going to say stupidity. We don't know. New sugya. says in the Mishnah that the murderer himself could claim he has a reason to believe he's not guilty. It's not I don't know if you go into Rikers Island, all these other, I don't think there's a single murderer that says, I belong here. Hardly ever. Every murderer says he's not guilty. So this murderer says, I have reason to believe I'm not guilty. So what do? We take him off the skila house and we bring him back to Bezdin. You do this over and over. But the Mishnah says, on condition that what he says has merit. It can't just be, I believe. Yeah, he has to say a svara. But the Gemara has a bomb kash on this. It says in the Brayso, he doesn't have to have merit. The first two times, without merit, he could just go back. Seems from the Mishnah, every time, even the first time, he has to make sense. Over here in the Brayso it says no, only from the third time on. The famous story where a guy, he was a Jew, he was sentenced to death by hanging, and he insisted on not being hung here. He wanted to be hung in another city, close by. So they brought him to that city and they hang him, and the noose fell off the ceiling, and he didn't die. So the rule is, if it falls off the ceiling, you potter. You just go home. So everybody said, wow, it's Ruach HaKodesh. How did you know? How did you know to go there, not here? He says, no, I didn't know. I want to live for another 5 minutes. It takes 5 minutes to get there. It's an extra 5 minutes. A yid could tuayf eilumas in this world. Every minute that you're alive, you could do another mitzvah, another thing. You could kiss your tzitzis, you can make a bracha, whatever it is. Not kiss your tzitzis. Do a real mitzvah. So why not? This guy also, as he's going to think, no, take me back. 20 times. Yeah, you have to make sense, but the first 2 times you don't have to make any sense. You could delay the hanging by 2 times. In fact, you're right. Our Mishnah must be talking about from the second time on, he has to make sense. He has to have mamish b'dvarov. Before that, he could just make up a baba ma'isa. Say, I believe I'm not guilty. Why? Bring me to the bezin, I'll tell them. And when he gets to the bezin, he goes, I forgot. And okay, fine. So they take him back. He gets back to the hanging post, and then he says again, I have reason to believe I'm not guilty. And they bring him back to the bezin, but the third time he has to make sense. Says the Gemara Mino Yadi. How did the 2 people that are in charge of bringing a murder to the gallows or whatever it's called, how do they know whether or not he's saying something that's a good svar or not? They're just hired men. They're tough guys. They're not Tamei Chachamim. No, in fact, we have to give them 2 rabbanim to accompany them. Oh, here, this was the Sanhedrin thing from before, so we'll show it now. I guess Mark threw it in there. Check this out. It's unbelievable. Just to explain real quickly for the new people here. Here, Rabbi, check this out. Here, the 23 dayanim sit on top. Then there's 3 rows of 23 of talmidim. The way it works is the first row is the most chashuv, second row second chashuv. The guy, the talmid that's all the way on the right, he's the most chashuv of that row. And it goes, each person is a little less chashuv than the next. So let's say, check this out, it's unbelievable. Let's say one of the dayanim, no? It doesn't, no animation. Oh yeah, it did, there is animation here. So this is the simple animation, not the one that you like. If one of the Talmidim has something to say, so we add another chair, and we put the Talmud there, and he joins them. Okay, that's the simple animation. Fine. No, we had it really cool that every Talmud moves over. It was like a... Yeah. Says the Gemara. And these 2 Rabbanim, they say, yeah, why do you think you're not guilty? Let's hear. They hear him out. If it's nonsense, they kill him. If it's not nonsense, they bring him back to Bezin. As the Gemara, so why don't you just have the 2 Rabbanim there from day one? Why do you give him 2 freebies? Says Gemara, I give the boys, since he's so nervous because he's about to die, so the svar doesn't come out good. So even if you have 2 chachamim there, it doesn't make a difference. We give him 2 freebies because regardless, he might be so mixed up and so full of anxiety or whatever that he won't be able to articulate what he wants to say, and therefore We give him 2 freebies, come to Bezdin, explain to Bezdin, and if that doesn't work, then we send it to the Chachamim to listen to him or not. Says Gemara, Matzloi zechus ptaru. If they found him not guilty, then he goes home. Ptaru. Then lav, and if he's guilty, yoytzel isakal. Then we take him out to be hung. Uchruz yoytzel lefanov, and they have somebody announcing. They have like in Yisrael, they have the taxi with the microphone, the speakers screaming, Ish ploini ben ploini yoytzel isakal. So and so is about to die. Al sha'avar averi ploini is because let's say he was machal Shabbos. I don't know what. Uploini edav, and these are the edim. We have to say all this, as we're going to see in a second, because we want to do hazama. Maybe somebody could testify that these witnesses are liars. They were in Florida this day. They were in Park City skiing. How could they testify they were in Brooklyn at that day? So anybody that could come with a non-guilty opinion, please come forward. Omar Abaya, says Abaya, you have to add on the words, it happened in this day, this hour, and in this place. Why? Because then we could do hazama. It's dependent on the place. If they're saying that they saw him being Machal Shabbos in Brooklyn, but you were skiing in Utah, then you're Eid Zaymim. And every Eidos you have to be able to be Mazim, and we could get him off the hook. We don't have to kill this guy. Dilma, Ikadiyadis, maybe there's somebody that knows, Vasu Mezimlu. Now we have a very, very interesting Gemara here. I was debating whether I should say this or not, and I'm going to say it. I'll tell you everything. It says like this in the Gemara: Cruz Yoitz Lefanov. There's a person that announces in front of him. As the Gemara Lefanov in Mikaraloi, they only announce it as they're bringing him to the gallows, as they're bringing him to the killing site, and not beforehand. Why don't we do it beforehand? If you notice, the Gemara doesn't answer, and the Gemara doesn't say anything. Zero. The Gemara stops right here. What happened? This is a secret Gemara. This is the Gemara about a certain individual. Maybe I won't mention his name, but we could look over here in the Agois V'Tzionim, and it says the whole story. Happens to be I was on a flight, and in Utah, there's a lot of Mormons, and I was preparing shir on the flight, and this very nice individual who lives here in Park City, he started a conversation with me, and he's trying to get me to be Mormon. So I said, maybe it's Kedai. I had a few kashas that he didn't really have great answers, and but we are on YouTube and different platforms, and I have to be slightly careful. So I'm going to read it, and whoever understands. It says like this: "B'tfus yashan shelifnei atzinzur." This is censored. This whole Gemara is censored. There's a giant piece of Gemara missing here because the Gemara asks a question. What? You only have a guy with a microphone as he's going to be killed. What about 2 days before? Says that this is what it used to say in the Gemara. V'tanya be'erev Pesach, when it was erev Pesach, tlu li Yeshu hanoitri. That's when they hung him. V'kruz yoytz lefanav arba'im yom. In fact, they announced it they try to get him off the hook for 40 days. So you do announce, that's the Gemara's answer, you do announce it for 40 days before. It's not just the 5 minutes as he's going to die. I also have to be careful because there's a person on this floor, right over there, who is probably also not a Yid. So, the reason why we're giving him skila is because he did kishuf, and the worst of the worst, he made other people rebel against the Rebbeinu Shleima. And they couldn't find the zechus for him until Erev Pesach. So this is the day of the hanging. He asked, but he's a masis. This is all part of the Gemara. They bring names here. Ula. Ask the question. How could you be Melamed Zechus? We learned that if somebody is a masis, if you try to convince somebody to do Avodah Zarah, you don't get that privilege of us looking to get you to find a non-guilty verdict. Big kids are okay. So anybody wants to learn here, and it says it's 5 Talmidim, which don't match up to the Talmidim that we know today. Okay. There's different rayas that the year that he was killed is different than what they believe in. Different things from this Gemara. It's very interesting. So remember, if you ever want to remember, Sanhedrin Daf Mem Gimel, this is where it appears in Shas. Daf Mem Gimel Amud Beis. And this is also a fascinating Gemara right here. Very, very important Gemara. Amar Yechiel ben Levi, Daf Mem Gimel Amud Beis. You know what? Let me just do this real quickly. Turning of the Daf, Tavis, Berkovici family in honor of the MDY Daf champions, Leo Shamshi Shlafrak, Uncle Freddie and Mr. Gross, and for Shlema for our fearless leader-in-chief, Chaim Gabriel ben Tzivilano, by the members of the Muncie Fire Department. You hear this, Rabbi? There's 19 guys in a fire department in Muncie that do the Daf Yomi with me. 19. The positive, we did a whole video about them by the Shabbaton. Yaakov Sidron Films, strategic video production. So says the Gemara. Omer Yechiel Malevi. Kol hazivach es Yisrael u'misvada olav, malo alakosov kilu kibdoi lakadosh baruch hu b'shnei olamim. Unbelievable Gemara. If you came just for this, it was kedai. If a person has the Yetzer Hara, he gets involved in something, he's about to do something. He didn't do it. He's about to do something. He has an affair he wants to do, and he doesn't do it. Not only that, so the Gemara calls it shechting the Yetzer Hara. He shechted the Yetzer Hara before he was able to do it. He shechted the Yetzer Hara, and then he has charata is misvada. So the Gemara says it's ki'ilu, you get double schar. The question that the Mersha asks here is, why does he have to do vidui? He didn't do an avera. He was about to do an avera, and he shechted his Yetzer Hara. Why does he have to? What's the vidui? So Mersha says, you put yourself in a position. That's the biggest problem is when you put yourself in a position to do an avera, and that's where it goes bad, and that is very hard to turn back, and that you have to do vidui for that. Okay. But, the Wilmington says, how does a person know why he came to this world? What's his tafkid in this world? Everybody has a different thing to be misakin. It's the thing that you struggle with the most, that thing. Now, the Lubavitchers are probably going to tell me the Baal Tanya also says it, right? Yeah? You were about to say that. And the Rebbe said in this Sikha, how do I know?
All the same time.
What?
All the same time.
Yeah, I know. I have a chavrusa for Tanya every week. I learn with the class of Tanya. So, but I didn't see it in the Tanya yet. But I'm sure I knew you were going to say that. So, I was speaking to somebody a few weeks ago, and he said he had a little bit of a gambling taiva, and it caused a lot of shalom bayis issues with him. A lot of shalom bayis. He lost a lot of money, and his wife was very upset. And he went to this convention of these the pros. Happens to be I don't know if I should mention one of my kids is a little bit of a pro. On one night he made $126,000. He beat us 600 people in poker. He's very, very good, but he doesn't do it now. He's working on himself. I don't know why. I thought it's more like he's a professional. But anyway, so this guy went and he spoke to, and he does the daf, so I have to be careful what I say. I love you. So he goes there and he was shocked. He saw the amount of effort that these people put in, the reading that they do, and the lessons they take, and they're in it day and night. And he gave him a lot of chizuk in avodas Hashem. He quit. This is what he tells me. He said he quit. He said to himself, if they invest so much energy in this sport or whatever you want to call it, in this thing, 12, 14 hours a day, nonstop. They're reading and they're dissecting and they're watching videos of pros and how they did it and how they did this, and it's the whole life, and everything they schmooze about is this. Imagine if I put that koyches into avodas Hashem, he said. And just last week, I happened to see an amazing clip of, I hope I don't mess up his name, the world champion in chess, Magnus Carlsen, his name. So 60 Minutes was interviewing him. He was in London for the first time in his life. And he went on a Ferris wheel. And the guy says, have you ever seen the London Bridge? He says, no. He says, but look, it's right over there. I
guess 45
he wasn't looking.
He didn't look out the window.
So the guy says,
Just
I noticed we're on this Ferris wheel, and you're not looking at you see the entire London, and this is your first time. Why aren't you looking outside?
Yeah, I was
was
He says, I'm
thinking about something
chess.
specific in my
I have a
preparation
game
for
tomorrow.
my
I'm
game
thinking about
tomorrow.
chess. And it hit me like they say about G'daylam that, they walk in the street, they're learning Torah. When you're consumed with something, so I thought maybe they're making it up, maybe this. Here's a guy that his whole life is chess. He's thinking in chess. He's in the middle of an interview with 60 minutes. It's not like some guy, Yeshiva Bacher interview. 60 minutes. He's thinking in chess the entire time that he doesn't have the head to look out the window to look at the London Bridge. It's unbelievable. God, it's shukua. Shukua, you could be shukua in Torah, you could be shukua in gambling, you could be shukua but you could be shukua in something. And it changes your life. Sog the Gemara. Since the pasuk says yichabdenani, the word yichabdenani with two nuns, it says that you get double schar, no ilam hazen, no ilam haba. V'amar Rabbi Shmuel Levi, another thing he said, Bizman shebeis hamikdash kayam, other makav oila, and this is also an amazing thing for us. Negea b'dav. It's negea lemaisa. In the time of the Beis Hamikdash, a person wanted to bring a oila, he brought a oila. How much schar does he get? He gets enough schar for oila. Mincha, if he brings a carbon mincha, schar mincha b'yada, so he gets the schar b'mincha. Avami shadayte shvala, whoever has his mind he has remorse. Shafa means he's low, he's feeling bad, he has charata. When you do tshuva, it's another thing to emphasize the importance of tshuva. When you do tshuva, it's as if you brought all their korbanos, all of them. A oila, a chatas, a shlamim, a taida, a mincha, tamid, everything. Shenemar, zivchei elikim ruach nishbara. Ruach nishbara, a broken spirit. When a person is broken, in other words, he does tshuva, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that zivchei, it's all the korbanos of elikim. V'layod, el she'in tfilas in meses, whatever he davens for Hashem listens to, shenemar leiv nishbar, a broken heart, the nitka, depressed, elikim le'sivza. Hashem won't be mevayishet, won't be mevazet. Says the Mishnah. When he was distant from the skila house where they threw him off 10 amos, about 20 feet away, do vidui. I'm sure you, Rabbi, you were at viduis probably many times in your life, no? As a rabbi? Quite a few. I was only at 2, and something, again, one of these things I wish I don't remember, but it's, it's life. Right at the tier of a person, you tell them to say vidui. I don't know what they're feeling like. What I'm saying vidui, that means I'm going. It's like it's a sad thing, but sometimes you say it for them. No, more times than less. I don't know.
Usually for them. We had one just 10 days ago.
10 days ago.
A lady.
Wow. So you say vidui. Say vidui. But here's what's amazing. This guy, they're hanging him. They're stoning him. He's not wearing any clothing. There's a whole tzibur over there watching it, and he does not get a kapara for Zavera. Whatever Zavera, he doesn't get a kapara unless he does vidui. Vidui is super important. All those that are killed by Bezdin, they have to do vidui. When you do vidui, you get olam haba. Yeshua b'ni simna achan was the one that took the loot. We're going to see. Yeshua said, when we beat the enemy, don't take anything from them. And he went ahead and he took. So they gave him the death penalty. Because, it caused a lot of tsar in Klal Yisrael. 36 people from Klal Yisrael died because of this. And we're going to describe what happened there. We find by Achan, Shamalei Yeshua, B'ni Simna Kavod Hashem, Elokei Yisrael, V'ten Taida. So Taida doesn't mean thanks. Over here, Taida means vidui. Say vidui to Hashem. By Anachan, and Achan said, as Yeshua v'yoymar, and he said, Omna, you're right, Anoichi Chatasi, I in fact sinned, v'chazais asisi, this is what I did. And how do you know that Hashem listened to this? Why did you ruin us? Hashem should ruin you. You ruined today, you're not ruined forever. And if a person doesn't know how to say the words, right? Rabbi, you have this all the time. Pashas can't read Hebrew. What are you going to say? How are you going to say vidui? Here, this is very important. You don't have to say the whole vidui. Say a few words. Tehei misasi kapara al kol avinaisai. My death should be a kapara for all my sins. What if a person is being put to death and he knows in his heart that he's 100% not guilty? That the Edom lied, they hate him so much that they lied and they want him to die for no reason. He has a trick. He says, my misa should be a kapara for my averis. Besides this avera, I was never mechal Shabbos in my life. I'm not going to die for chil Shabbos. I'm dying for my other averis. So they said that's not a good idea. Why? Every person that did sin and is dying for that reason, he'll lie and say right before, so he'll be an idiot. He'll die and he won't get a kapara, so that other people, that's what we do. All we care about is what the other guy is going to say. So people in the community should think he's innocent, so he's going to say, I'm not doing vidu now on my aver that you're accusing me because I am innocent on that. I'm doing for other averes. The guy's a fool. But we don't want him to be a fool. And they're trying to discuss, what do we care? Who cares? Maybe it's actually the Gemara. I don't remember anymore. What you learn on a plane is not the same thing. The oxygen is shvach, you know what I'm saying? Tana Rabbana. Yeshua says to Achan, no. What no means, please. Ein no, el l'lashem bakasha. B'shosh ha'makadosh baruch hu Yeshua. Chata Yisrael. So Hashem tells Yeshua, Klal Yisrael sinned. Tell me who it is. I can find them. Let me take care of business. What am I, Balash and Hara? I'm not going to tell you. Do a raffle, do a lottery. And so, but who does the lottery? Who makes the person win in the lottery? Hashem. But it looks like there's human intervention here. The famous mice where a guy tells the Rav, I daven and daven that I should win the lottery. I don't understand how come Hashem is not listening. Davening. So Rav says, did you buy a lottery ticket? No. He says, okay, shkoyach. You have to buy a lottery. You have to do ishtadlos. First do ishtadlos. Then you daven, and then maybe a lot of people say, I don't understand. How come this is not working? What do you do that it should work? Did you do the right thing? I'm not a Talmud Chacham, yeah, but did you open up a sefer? Like, how are you going to be a Talmud? How are you going to win the lottery without buying the ticket? Says the Gemara, Omer Loi, Yeshua begirl slicha, abegirl holach v'begirl. So in fact, he did a lottery. V'nafal agirl alachan. What did he do? First, he did a lottery with Shevet. Once they narrowed it down to what Shevet, then they had to narrow it down what family. What family? Then we got Tachan. So he goes to Tachan and says, "Listen, I have to kill you because you came out in the lottery." Omer Loi Yeshua begirl atabalai. Omer Loi Yeshua begirl atabalai. You coming to me? Are you serious? How do you kill a person? You have two witnesses, and you have a whole deliberation, and then you decide whether or not he's guilty or not guilty. You're going to pick me out of a hat, a couple of names, and you're going to say, okay, because my name came out, that's why you're going to kill me? That doesn't make sense. What if I do a lottery between two people, you and Elazar? One of you is going to come out guilty. This is where he said, please don't make fun of a lottery. Why? I myself, Yeshua, I'm going to divide Eretz Yisrael with a lottery, and it's very important that you shouldn't make fun of a lottery. So the Gemara, a very interesting thing happened here. Yeshua basically lied to him, or let's not call it lie. He tricked him. What did he do? He tells Achan, do me a favor, all I want you to do is confess. So Achan was under the impression that if he confesses, he won't get killed. So he confessed. And he says, you confessed, now you have to die. Not because he confessed. He's going to kill him because he came out of the lottery, but he wanted him to confess. Why? So the Klal Yisrael shouldn't think that Yeshua is lying. Achan's running around telling people, look, he's killing me for no reason, just because of a lottery. Here, he confessed. Miyad you're right. I did it. I think it's also another incredible lesson we have here. Achan was a Rasha. The Gemara is going to say he did every is in the Torah, including being with a Naira Murasa. He ate treif, he was Mechal Yom Kippur, every is in the Torah. But he did tshuva with vidui. What do we say every single day that Achan composed? Shkoyach. Welcome to the shir, man. Al Kenekava. Ayin Chof Nun. Al Kenekava. That's Achan. Achan composed Al Kenekava. We say 3 times a day. This Rasha that was actually put to death because of his rishas. At the end of the day, if you do tshuva, you're zaycha, you could zaycha that all of Klal Yisrael, millions and hundreds of millions of times it was said since he composed it. Omer Abbasi. Oh, let me just show you this. I didn't have a chance. I just saw it with you. So in case you're new to this year, we have 4 full-time artists. 2 of them work on 3D animation. 3D animation, to do a 10, 20-second clip takes about 2 days. Okay? So I don't know if it's going to work now. It should work, but I don't know. Mark, you have the volume under control? Let's see.
You were arrested on suspicion that you stole pigeons. But because Reb Eli needs to finish the year, let's just make this short and sweet. I just need a confession and we're done. That's all? I never thought it would be that easy. All I need to do is admit, okay, I confess. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Wait, don't I go home? No way. I go home and you go to jail. The oldest trick in the book. Yeshua used it 3,500 years ago. But don't worry, you won't be sitting for long. We need a criminal character with your level of intelligence for more animations coming up soon. Have a wonderful day.
The shir a little bit. You have a tough sugya. Put a little humor, a little this. And shkoyach to the artists. What else do we have here today? Oh, okay. We're getting there. So Zok the Gemara. We're almost done. Wow, we got an hour here. And I think we're live in Eretz Yisrael now, in Ramat Bet Shemesh. 47 people on Zoom now. Or YouTube, I should say. Zog the Gemara. I don't know how many on Zoom. It's not the first time that Achan did this. He did it by Yeshua, and he did it Shnayim b'mei Moshe v'echav b'mei Yeshua. Shenemar, Chazois v'Chazois Asisi. So if you look over here on the chart, you see it? Anoichi Chatasi is 1, the Chazois is 2, the Chazois is 3. So he looted 3 times. Now 36 Yidden died because of this. How come he wasn't punished until that point? So Rashi brings that this is the idea of Klal Yisrael are Arevim Zelozeh. We're all in this together. The famous mashal, I'm not going to say it again, but I'll show you why not. This guy on a ship, and he says to himself, I'm in my own private room, let me make a hole in my wall, and if water comes in, it's my problem, it's nobody else's problem, it's my room. Shaita. The whole ship went down because of you. So that's the famous mashal. Today on the plane, I thought about another mashal. I think it's better actually. It's why I relate to it more. It's the middle of the night, right? It's an 11-hour flight. Everybody's sleeping. Everybody. Lights are off. Dark. All of a sudden, that one chacham opens up his whatever it's called, the screen, the window, and the whole place lights up. And I see people turning. It happened. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, he's saying to himself, it's my window. Yeah, but your window, you're causing this light everywhere. Now everybody woke up because of you. But that's Batsim, that's Arevus. We're all Arevim, meaning when you do a good deed, you learn Torah, you do chesed, whatever you're doing, you bring light to the world. So your action, it's not action for you. I'm talking about in the good sense. you bring light to everywhere. And in the bad as well. You do an Avera, you bring bad. So this is unbelievable what the Gemara is going to say here. According to one sheet, if a person does an Avera in his own home, in his bedroom, all of Klal Yisrael suffers because of it. 36 people suffered. Nobody even knew that Achan took the loot, and 36 people died because of that. When did we become Arevim Zelazeh? By the two mountains over there, when we crossed the Yarden, and the Eibishter said, "You accept the Torah?" And they said, "Yes." And have Klal Yisrael, and this mountain, have what's the name of the mountains over there? Rashi brings it down here. Gilad, something with the Gimel, no? You see it, but anyway, okay. So says the Gemara. Kitanoi, it's actually Machlokes Tanoim. Hanastar's Hashem Elokeinu v'Haniglas lanu levaneinu ad olam. In my Gemara, I have Nekudis on these words, exactly like it's in the Torah. Lama nokud alanu ulevaneinu. How come there's dots on top of the words lanu levaneinu? V'al ayin sheba'ad. And there's one Nekuda on the ayin. V'lamish le'ono shal hanastar's asher avru Yisrael sayarden. Klal Yisrael didn't get punished on things that were done in private until they came over the Yarden and they accepted upon themselves. So now they became Arevim, they became one. What? Forever from Sheshis Mei Bereshis until now, it was always like that you got punished for all the hidden averis that people did. But like for Namar Ad Olam, it's not true. Elo Kishem Shlei Onash Al Hanastaris Kach Lei Onash Al Hanoshim Shebagolei At She'avru Yisrael Zeyarden. Even the ones that were done in public, Klal Yisrael didn't get punished until after the Yarden. Ella, just one more line. Achan, my time Yonash. Why did they get punished? If it wasn't public, it was only hidden. According to this man Damar, since his wife and children knew, so then it's as if it was done in the public, and that's why other people in Klal Yisrael got punished for that Aveira. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.